This is one of the biggest interviews I'm going to do, so if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe now because it's Chris Van Vliet. Chris Van Vliet.
Hey, Chris.
See what I did there?
Subscribe to this.
Nice, that felt good.
Is he going to be okay to do the interview still?
Yeah, we might have to wait 10 minutes.
Yep. Okay. All right. So when you're ready, Chris.
Yep, we'll take a seat.
Love you, buddy.
That was a pretty cool intro. That actually might be the best intro to any of my videos ever. I mean, the Rob Van Dam, the Billy Gunn intros were very cool. You should check them out if you haven't seen them yet, but come on, guys. I was part of a super kick party. Thank you so much for checking out this insightful, very interesting chat with the Young Bucks, and a huge thank you to our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid is a brand new collection RPG game, although you've probably already heard of it because it's taking the mobile gaming landscape by storm. Almost 10 million players across the world have downloaded the game in just 3 months. As you can see, it has great graphics, strategic gameplay, huge boss fights, an amazing storyline, and over 400 champions for you to collect and personally customize. My favorite is this beast right here. His name is Gaelic. He's a freaking monster, and I love how he has like hair like Sheamus and built like Brock Lesnar. But whichever champion you choose, I mean, look at this. The detail is insane. There's really something for everyone in Raid. Some people love collecting the characters. For some people, it's all about the in-depth storyline. I personally love playing against and destroying other live players, and it's insanely addictive. This might be the best mobile game you've ever played. Heck, this might be the best game, period, that you've ever played. It's free to play, and with more than 200,000 reviews, Raid has an almost perfect score on the Play Store. The highly anticipated new update is live now, and there's a new awesome loyalty and reward program for new players. You'll get a new daily login reward for the first 90 days in the game. So, I mean, seriously, what are you waiting for? Go to the video description, click on the link down there, and you'll get 50,000 silver and a free Epic Champion as part of the new player program to start your journey. So go and do it now. A huge thank you to Raid for sponsoring this video. Now please enjoy my chat with Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks.
All right, there we go.
Oh, that's it.
Nick has morning face still. He's like barely.
Yeah, I didn't sleep the night before this, so I slept my ass off last night.
He's even kind of that morning voice.
Do I?
That's good. Yeah.
Thank God.
Thank you guys for making this happen.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I know you guys are busy people. And the last time we spoke was about a year and a half ago.
That's right.
Ring of Honor. The interview where the lights were going out because the time was,
Was Kenny with us? We were like sitting in the bleachers.
That's right.
That's
yeah.
it. That's it. I
Yeah.
remember.
I don't even remember that.
And I don't think any of us had T-shirts on that day. I think we were
Definitely
all just
Kenny did.
shirtless. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and I was like, that's it? Like, the way I got like 4 minutes. Like, oh. So thank you for maybe giving me more than 4 minutes today.
Oh, you know what? Now I remember. That was when we had like 8 interviews in like a matter of
That's
like
right.
an hour.
And the
we had
one
to
guy
cram
took like
everyone in.
28 minutes for your 30 minutes of interviews.
Yeah, and anytime you're dealing with Kenny, he's quite a wild card. So we knew we're like, this is gonna be short.
But obviously, a lot has changed in the last year and a half.
Yes, sir. Holy
from the
crap.
outside looking in,
Yeah.
what's been the biggest change for you guys? Actually being in this.
Jeez.
The biggest change? Oh, man.
Well, we were talking about this just a second ago, right? About the schedule is just so different. Like the travel. Like Nick and I, we're so used to being on an airplane every 3 days. So as soon as we signed these contracts January 1st, like we barely traveled. So we've been home with our families, which has been amazing. But at the same time, it's been different for us because like we're so used to being on the go, and I'm just always around. So I'm sure I'm just in the way of like my wife's plans, and my kids are probably like, "What's Dad still doing here?" But we've also had a lot of time to bond and stuff, and we've had to kind of like grow into these jobs, as executives, as vice presidents, and I'll tell you the truth. Like when we started, I'm like, what does that even mean? What does this job mean? I have no idea what I'm doing, right? And but I feel like since then I've learned so much about what that means. And I feel like it's made me mature as a person, as a business person. And but yeah, it's just been really fresh and new.
We live on the phone.
Yes.
That's a big difference.
It's just it's a never-ending 24/7 group chat about creative, or it's an email that a chain that never ends. You're constantly working. It's a lot of work.
Someone needs to contact us at every hour
Yes.
of the day, so that's a big difference.
You're always
but
on.
Yeah.
Tony mentioned you guys have this group chat. What is
Yeah.
the title of the group chat?
I named it Creative the other day, actually, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I finally gave it a name. I'm like, we should probably name this
Well, there's
thing.
multiple.
Yeah,
group
that's
chats.
the main one right
there's
now,
an
though.
AEW one. There's a
Yeah.
creative. There's a AEW Good Brothers one. Right?
Oh, yeah, with Jericho's in that one.
There's a bunch.
We have a
of
collaborations work with Conan.
there's a ton
Jericho
of
loves
them.
calling people good brothers.
Yes, he
loves
does.
it. Yeah.
That's the thing.
So your EVPs, there's a bunch of EVPs. Obviously, you guys all have different roles. What exactly are the roles that you guys have in the company?
We're such a baby company still. I think we're still trying to figure that out. Like, we all kind of just, like, we're wearing 20 hats each. It's
Well,
like,
yeah, I think we are behind the tag teams that are getting hired,
For
getting
sure.
signed.
For
So
sure.
there's different like categories you could say. Like Kenny he's taking his time on the women's division. He's got his hands all over that. He's helping out with a lot
You
of
should
that
have seen
work.
him at Fyter Fest.
Oh my gosh,
Like,
yeah.
He had to
He worked his
three
butt off.
different matches. He had to
Yeah.
coach. So
He did great.
Yeah, and plus he had to do our match. So he was just he was nuts that day.
And then he had the run-in later.
Yeah, he
Yep,
was
yep.
all day long. Like
Wow.
at the end of the night, he just passed out. He was dead. He worked his
So
butt
this
off.
is probably also a difference for you guys. Usually when you're working indie shows, you go, you do your appearance,
Yes.
you sign your autographs, you do your match.
Right.
Where would we find you guys
Oh my God.
backstage in an AEW
Oh
show?
my
Never
goodness.
stationary. Like, we're always running around doing
yep.
something.
It's pretty hectic.
It's really made my anxiety levels like come to another level. Like on show days, like I thought I was anxious before. Now this job, it's like, oh my God, Nick. Like, we're just looking at each other. Like, when are we gonna have time to even sit down and talk? When are we gonna have time to eat or talk to this guy or this guy? Like, it's
been fun, though.
It's panicked.
It's
like
challenging.
It's very challenging.
But you know what, it reminds me of like 15, 12 years ago when we were running our own little
Yeah.
small company. And we ran it all by ourselves. So it's very similar, but this is obviously on a larger scale.
People don't realize too, like the fact that the Lucha Brothers are insane and they wrestle 4 times a week or whatever, right? So they're never going to make a call time because they're coming in from a different town. So they always show up last second. We're busy as it is. So like at Fyter Fest, we didn't even have a finish called, and the match before us was finishing. We had no finish
No
called.
way.
Yeah, it's just how it is. So we're just like looking at each
I,
other like,
Brandon, he's filming us right now for BTE. He says he's never seen us that nervous before a match because usually we're like cool, calm, and collected, you know.
we
And-
were freaked out.
Wow.
To break kayfabe, as soon as our music hit, I went, "Oh my God, I don't even know my opening high spot. I don't even know my opening high spot. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
This guy speaks Spanish."
It's been hard, man. And a lot of guys, like, they have a week, 2 weeks, a month. They go and they plan their matches ahead of time or they rehearse. And like Nick and I have always been like, no, the red light's got to be on. It's show day. We call that thing.
Last
and
minute,
like, but
yeah.
like we're really pushing this now. We're like maybe we should consider getting together a little earlier in the day or the day before.
we
perhaps.
we
Like,
always had that.
Yeah.
Us and like Kevin Steen,
El Generico was
and
pretty
El
bad, too.
Generico, we were all the four of us always calling things last second.
El Generico was famous for always never having his gear on and his match would be up next. He'd always be running around in silver underwear. Like his one boot, like not tied, and like his mask like halfway on, and he'd be like going through the match panicked. That's us. We're El Generico now.
Are you able to take a step back though and realize like how much of an impact you've only had 2 shows? How much of an impact
It's
you're having on the
crazy,
wrestling world as a whole?
insane?
We've changed the whole pay scale for everyone in wrestling, which is awesome. Like a lot of our friends are getting paid and they're finally making money for the first time in their careers.
Yeah.
And it feels good. It feels awesome.
It just feels like they put pressure. The pressure's been put on
Yeah.
everybody in the professional wrestling
we have
business.
to kill it every show.
Yeah, everybody's trying harder now. It's very competitive again. We need competition, and the industry needs it to survive.
But even before AEW, you guys had changed the indie wrestling game. Like it really was you guys that were putting your fingerprints on this and going, you don't need to sign with a major
Sure.
company to make a living, to pay your mortgage.
Yeah, we saw Colt Cabana be the pioneer of that way, and he went to WWE for a minute, but after that he went full on and just made tons of money. And I remember we'd be at little indie shows, and he would tell us his year to date. And we were blown away. We're like, how is that even possible?
Well, and much of that came through the podcast, right?
Yeah.
So I remember we said
and
to
merch
each other,
sales and all that.
merch,
Yeah,
but a
yeah.
lot of it was podcast stuff.
Yeah, and we were blown away. We're like, wow, we could do this then without going there.
Yeah.
And we pretty much took what he did and tried to do it.
Well, we did it with YouTube, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
And Being the Elite was born. I think that's when
It helped.
we started going to the shows and we started seeing our lines just growing and our merch being bought more, and it just seemed like we were like, it's because of that, right? Like you could just tell. So we started kind of like surveying, and we were like, it is because of that. So we just put everything into this show, and once that happened, it was like it felt like people started knowing us on a personal level, and people were just rooting for us as people, not just like, oh, these guys are great wrestlers, but I actually like. I like them because, they're family guys, and we like the same restaurants, and I like drinking 12 cups of coffee like Matt does always on Being the Elite, and they're always tired. Like, we became more relatable, you know what I mean? And so the show really changed that. And, I don't know what happened. We just felt like this boom happening on the
Bullet
independents.
Club got really hot, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a multiple, of things that went with it. New Japan was getting red hot.
So many things went
timing
right.
was right.
Yeah.
The timing was perfect.
And we saw it and we capitalized on it. We're always thinking 6 months, a year ahead. So I think that's one thing that we've always done in the professional wrestling business. We're always looking at the trends. Like, what's trending? Let's go with that thing. You know what I mean? And
But
a lot
now
of
you
people
guys are
think that
leading
way.
the trend.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think everything we always talk about this about like everything we've done in professional wrestling up until this day. We didn't realize it was training us for AEW. Like, we had no idea. We didn't know we were going to be executives one day or help write creative.
No.
Like, I think the show Being the Elite helped us kind of condition us to like writing a show every week. We didn't realize it. We were like having a deadline.
I told Matt that too. We were starting to get burnt out.
Yeah.
And we both said, hey, we're doing this show on a weekly basis for something bigger. I don't know what it is, but I hope soon it comes. And AEW was born, and then we felt like, hey, that was the reason for it.
It's actually crazy that there might at some point be more people watching Being the Elite than watching you guys on TV, and that's not a knock on TNT.
Sure.
That's just the trend of how broadcast is going.
Sure, and I think once we are on TNT and we're able to plug it, I think that's going to help a lot.
Oh, so Being the Elite will continue?
We always say we don't know, right? But like, how could it not in some way? I don't know if it's going to be the same format. I don't know if it's going to, who knows? I don't think that we can just get rid of it though, because it's so powerful of a tool for us.
Yeah.
I think it's always going to have to be around, like in some fashion.
But right now you're doing stuff on Being the Elite that has a payoff on AEW programming.
Yes.
Can you do that week to week?
It's a good question.
It would be hard because we already have to write the stuff for the TV show, and then we would have to write more for the YouTube show. So
yeah, then are you going to save stuff and go, ooh,
It might-
that'd
maybe-
be better on the YouTube show?
maybe it would turn more into the old school vlog of us traveling and stuff like
Behind
that.
the scenes stuff you don't see.
Where it was way easier on us, so we didn't have to think of stories. We would just, all right, just film me because I'm walking,
You know what's
I'm
so great
driving.
about-
Just film me do that. Like,
What's
that
so
was
great
easy.
about the show too, though, is like if we can't fit the entire roster on the television show, we go, hey, we got Being the Elite.
Yeah, that's
People are
true.
still here. Let's get them on this.
Yeah.
It's like I think that's another way it could be useful going forward.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys you really have changed things, and you have this entrepreneurial mindset now.
Yeah.
Was this something that was instilled at you at a young age? Like, were you mowing the neighbor's yard or something like that?
Pretty much.
I mean,
we were working with our dad.
Yeah,
He's
at a young
into construction forever, so we were building roofs with him when I was like 12 years old. Same with you.
We came from very
painting
little
houses.
though. Like we had my dad didn't make a whole lot of money, but he's hustled, right? So we learned that hustle and
that's true.
working hard. And we had a big family. We had 4 kids, family of 6. So we, like I said, we didn't come from a whole lot of money. Like we struggled. So I think a part of that also, like now it's like we finally have come into making good income, but I'll never forget those days of struggling. So it's like, I think that's a big part of why we hustle and why we never quit. Maybe there's this weird fear inside of me of being broke again one day. You know what I mean? Because I know what it's like. So like Nick and I are never comfortable or complacent. We always are like, let's move forward. Let's go. We're at this convention this weekend. You know what I mean? We were home for a couple of days. You know, it's like we still have it in our blood. It's never gonna stop.
Yeah.
But as far as being an entrepreneur, I don't know, man. I don't know where that came. I think. Really, would you say like maybe 10 years ago? Like we talk about the Colt Cabanas, the El Genericos, the Kevin Steens, the guys that were sitting behind the table, the Chris Heroes, the guys that were sitting behind the table hustling, and we would be at the same table, but we wouldn't have a single person in our line. And then we would get to the back, and we would see them with just wads of cash, and we go, what are they doing different? You know, and I remember just watching them and seeing the way they would engage with fans and how they would be happy and inviting, and we would kind of be shy and just put our heads down. I'm like, we have to be more like that.
Yeah.
And then kind of look at their designs and go, okay, people like those designs. Let's do something similar to that. It's really just all it is you're copying what you see and you're making it your own.
Yeah, I think the phrase is success leaves clues. So if you can take a little bit from each person.
Right.
But it also, wrestling's always been about telling the story within the ropes. You guys have completely changed that.
Sure.
Maybe because you're taking the clues from all these other people.
I think so.
But, you're telling a story, all the time now.
Right.
Some people say we don't know how to tell stories, though. We get that all the time.
Well,
We always will, but
Yeah.
that just comes with how we look, how we carry ourselves,
Right.
and I don't know.
Our style in
Yeah,
the ring.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's one thing we'll always be underrated for is our storytelling. But again, we're always looking 6 months ahead at where's this headed? And everything we do is very strategic in that ring, but the way we tell stories now, it's like if we plant something on our series, there's good reason for it. There's most likely going to be some type of payoff down the line. We're not just randomly putting stuff on there. So yeah.
Well, speaking of storytelling, I've been a wrestling fan my whole life, as have you guys. I had never heard the term gimmicked chair shot before. So you've got to explain this to me.
That was brand new.
Yeah.
Cody was working on that for a good month, I'd say, right?
Yeah.
What was supposed to happen?
Well, the chair, the middle of it was so soft. Well, not soft.
sanded
it's still
down,
metal.
right? Yeah.
But yeah, it was so thin, I should say. It should have probably broke over his head if it was right in the middle of it. The edge of it happened to nail him in the back of the head, and that's what cut him up. And
So the chair would have folded over. He would have been wearing the chair on his head.
and it would have been easier than it would have felt like what were those
Like
those
a cookie
cooking sheets that
Oh.
it was as thin as that, so it should have been like that, but it didn't.
They just hit him at the wrong angle and busted him open.
Is Cody okay?
Yeah, he's all right.
He's okay. He got
He had staples.
I heard
but
it was a dozen, but I guess he said it was
10 or 12,
10
something
staples.
around there.
Yeah.
But he's all right. He's okay. No
It definitely
concussion.
caught him though. Like he was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Lesson
he was a mess.
learned.
Well, then there's a bunch of fans going, well, he got hit on this side and he was bleeding on the other side. It's like, well, obviously the lip of the chair
Yeah.
caught
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, the lip caught him and it got him good. So.
It's too bad. But either way, we knew it would carry controversy.
We warned them, and
Yeah, we
we were
warned
like,
them.
"This is gonna be a big thing." And I mean, and it was, and it had its effect, and it worked. But I'm just glad he's okay. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's scary. Anything with when
There's
you're messing
risk
with
for
your
ev-
brain,
yeah, oh,
man.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
freaky. Everyone was freaked out either way. I'm just glad he's okay.
Do you think that that'd be a spot you guys would try again? Maybe not, this weekend.
don't-
if
I wouldn't have
Fallen.
tried it in the beginning, in the first place. If Cody, maybe
I don't
maybe
think
Cody.
Tony
I don't know.
will allow
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, he was
again,
pretty
yeah.
upset about it.
Really?
Yeah.
But wouldn't he have to have the okay?
Yeah, but I think they were hoping that it would go down differently.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Not that's a botch of the way it went down.
Is there a chain of command? Like, is Tony the last
Tony
person
is,
that's
yeah.
okay?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So everything goes through him?
Everything goes through.
So has there been ideas that have been run up the ladder? I guess to Tony, he goes, I don't think so, guys.
Usually he's really flexible.
Yeah.
Like it is collaborative, but yeah, like if you're gonna get if anything actually ends up happening on that show, Tony has heard about the idea.
Oh, wow.
Or he's
cleared
okayed it. Yeah,
he's
yeah.
okayed it. But Tony, like wins and losses, we'll get this the rest of our careers, right? They're gonna go. The Bucks booked themselves to win. You know how badly we did not want to win any of the matches that we've had. Like Tony is the last guy.
right.
It's a collaborative.
Till the
thing.
last minute, we were like, "No, we're losing in Vegas."
Yeah.
Tony's, "Nope."
He's the
winning.
guy who signs off on wins and losses. That's him. That's his job.
Well, if I had to guess as a fan, then you guys win the tag team titles. Then, I mean,
Who knows,
why
right?
not?
I mean,
wins and losses matter,
You
right?
know, like
Well, we are 2-0.
I
Right?
can't imagine us not eventually holding them, but
Of course.
we'll see. We'll see.
How
It'll be
long?
interesting.
You don't have to tell us specifically, but how long until we start to figure out the details of the tag team tournament?
Probably soon.
Soon.
We got brackets almost done.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Like
Yeah. I think
Tony's
there's a
got
couple we're still
Tony's
trying
got a lot of good ideas for it.
And we're talking immediate. Like this is one of the things we want to kick TV off with.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a big deal. And then, like Nick said, the tag division is huge to us.
It's stacked. Yeah.
So
Of
we're
course.
gonna really make this good.
Are there new tag teams that we haven't seen yet that you guys will be bringing?
There
in?
might. We've been
There's
talking.
plans. There's
yeah.
plans. Yeah.
Now, when you guys talk about having your hands on the tag team division, are Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy considered a tag team?
I think so.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, that's
Yep.
exciting.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we could have a good one with those
It's
guys.
funny because like like we considered it, and we were like, yeah, that'd be great. But then they started getting so over. We were like,
Yeah.
okay, they're a tag team for sure.
Yeah, like they can't come out without one another now.
Right.
It's-
Yeah, they're for sure a tag team.
Yeah. There's been a lot of questions surrounding PAC. What is the latest on him?
He's coming. I mean, eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, he's coming though. I'm pretty sure. We're pretty much at 99%. You know,
It's a
that
work
he's
in
here.
progress.
Yeah.
It's obvious that Matt and I are big fans.
Oh
of
my
his.
God, yeah.
We met him like 10 years ago over in Japan, so we'll always have ties with him, and we want to work things out with him. So
Yeah.
All right, well,
Looking good.
That's exciting because we haven't really heard any sort of update about
Yes.
him
No,
since before Double or Nothing.
It's a priority for us, and I think we're going to make this thing work.
Good, because I think a lot of fans were going, well, if he didn't show up at Double or Nothing, he wasn't at Fyter Fest,
Yeah.
maybe he's not coming anymore.
I think eventually we'll.
I think
go.
it's just a matter of trying to fit his schedule with ours. and
Yeah.
Hopefully things work out.
If things didn't come together with Tony Khan and AEW, with the success of All In,
Yep.
were you guys thinking of starting your own promotion anyway?
Yeah. Yeah, actually.
We considered it.
It was either the last options we had before AEW became a thing is going to WWE or starting our own thing, and we were probably going to start our own thing.
It was hard though because like we had some great offers on
Yeah.
the table.
Was WWE one of those
Oh, yeah.
offers?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
massive
talked.
offer.
We talked to them endlessly, like endlessly.
Wow.
And at one point, I remember me, Nick, and Kenny were in a room because all of our deals were up around the same time. And we got off the phone one day and we looked at each other and said, I think we're all going to WWE.
yeah.
And it was
got
that
pretty
close. It was
yeah.
that close.
Wow.
And Tony came to us at the right time, and he just made the better offer, you know. And I'm not talking financially. I'm talking, hey, you guys could run this thing.
Yeah.
And that's something that we couldn't get elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I want you guys to hire your people, you know, like
You can't put a dollar
you
amount
can't.
on any of that.
It's like someone saying, "Hey, I want you to make a movie, and you can hire all the cameramen, you can hire all the writers, you can hire all your friends to be
So
with
it's
you."
kind of like an Adam Sandler movie.
It's like, yeah, he gave us the keys to this thing, and it's like you can't say no to this, you know.
Isn't there also a certain point where you've made enough money that, like, what's another couple $100,000
Sure.
or whatever? That's like, it won't really matter.
No.
You know what I'm saying,
Yes,
right?
you can't put a price tag on mental health.
Sure.
And being around all of the people you love and actually being able to be creative and express yourself, you can't put a price
One
tag
thing
on that.
that took us out of the race for going to WWE was the amount of dates that they would want us to do, and we're like,
But they even offered us a limited schedule.
Really?
Yeah, but we have young families. Even with
Yeah.
that limited schedule, it was like, God, I can't imagine being home for 2 days for my kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a week.
But
Like,
anytime we would mention like the reasons
wanted
why
it-
we were
they
afraid to
wanted it
go,
to
though,
work, yeah.
they would say, okay, well, we'll do this. They had an answer for everything.
Yeah.
So that's why when we got off the phone that one day, the three of us looked at each other and said, well, I guess we're going to WWE. Like,
They're
how
very
could you say
convincing,
no to
yeah,
that?
yeah.
And then, we just got a hold of the cons, and that
Wow.
was it. Yeah.
Was the plan to go to the main roster? Because a lot of people come in, go
Yeah.
to NXT.
Yeah.
and
They were
work
already
their way
talking
up.
big plans for us. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, again, like, we were never. One thing about the three of us, we're very unique. Is like a lot of
in
the
our
boys.
hearts, we knew what we were going to
Yes,
do.
but a lot of the boys, their end game is WWE. We gave up that years ago.
yep.
Like maybe when I was like 23.
You know what's funny is when we were doing extra work for them in like 2008, maybe.
Yeah.
Like we would be backstage and we're like, God, this environment sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, why are we walking on eggshells when we're trying to get a job? Like, imagine when we have a job here, how it's gonna feel. And I always remembered that as a young adult. I was like, I don't think I could do that.
Yeah, I remember
I
we'd
don't
have a
think I could
conversation.
live that life.
We would look at
and
each other
it
and go,
kind of broke my heart though,
Yes.
because at that time I wanted to be a WWE superstar. Like
Right.
that was my goal, was to be there. And then being back there, I was like, God, this is terrible.
And like for us, like we suck at people like talking down to us, and like we authority figures, like we just rebel. It's in our spirit to
Yeah.
like be DIY. And we're like, we can kind of keep that same spirit if we do this other thing. Like, why should we stop being who we are?
Yeah.
And we could still put out the content we want to put out. Like,
Yeah.
why should we stop that?
And I think like 5 years ago when we started making very good money, we're like, oh yeah, all right, we don't need to go there ever. So
we could have stayed in ROH forever and
we
been
could have.
fine,
Yeah.
or done independence and been fine. And like the original question, you're like, were you going to start a wrestling company? We kicked
we were
around
actually,
the idea.
yeah, us, Cody, and Kenny, we were thinking of like.
Was this the rumor with JR? Remember?
No,
that was a
that-
different rumor.
That was something completely different. I don't know how that got started, actually.
Yeah, I don't know who leaked.
We were talking about
information
doing
on
maybe,
that.
4 big shows a year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were even talking to like Netflix and things like that to
Oh, wow.
to
Yeah.
to maybe get things going, but we didn't have to. So
Yeah.
I'm glad
It all worked
everything
out.
worked out.
Is
in
the
the
plan
end.
with AEW still 4 big shows a year?
I think so.
4 big pay-per-views, I think. That's the idea.
Well, Double or Nothing, you said last week,
Yeah.
would be a continuous
Yeah, we'll be back.
yearly
We'll
show.
do another one.
We're
Vegas
back.
was very happy, and we love Vegas because it's only a drive away from us.
Yeah.
So-
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do that again for sure.
We're
next
still
year.
planning our schedule, like we don't even know yet. It's still kind
We
of
just
out there.
we just
but-
got a big lineup though to see what we liked, and we got a whole.
I know
lineup
we want to
of
go to the
cities.
UK. That's a big with
Yeah,
the ITV
we'll
deal.
definitely
Like,
be
we
out
would
You
like
know
to
how
go there.
excited
point.
people are hearing that right now? There are
be out
so
there.
many UK wrestling
Yeah,
fans.
we
as
have
you
to
know.
go. We
Yeah,
have
we'll
to
be
go.
out there.
Canada, a lot of people are asking about Canada.
I would love to go to Canada.
Tony
I'm
loves
from Canada.
Canada. Okay, Tony loves Canada.
I mentioned to Tony that I'm from Toronto. He's like, "Did you know that I own the Four Seasons?"
He loves talking about that. I know.
he loves that hotel. He loves that hotel.
I'm like, "Of course you own the Four Seasons."
Yeah, I think Toronto would be a great
Trying to be
city, right?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be there eventually.
Tony's talking about doing a big show in the UK, so
Yeah.
I don't want to give spoilers.
Anywhere we
out,
go
but
though, now the fans are like, "When you coming here?" And it's like
Yes.
we always say, like we're gonna be touring, so eventually
We'll
we'll
be-
come.
yeah,
Like
we'll be around
The plan is to go
everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know when, but
Well, what size venues can you start running though when you start touring?
That's
it
tricky.
depends. Like the UK, I feel like we could probably do a pretty good sized one,
Yeah.
wouldn't you think? And probably Toronto as
the
well.
rule of thumb I always go off of if it's a big city, it's a big building.
Yeah.
Small
Yeah.
city,
Yeah.
smaller building.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna look at 5,000 to 12,000 seaters.
Yeah, that sounds fair. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what's on the schedule right now. So
Yeah.
I think we'll plan accordingly too. We don't want to get too far ahead, and then something happens like what happened with New Japan in Dallas. You know what I mean? And not to take a shot at them. They shot high,
Yeah.
but they couldn't fill it up. Like I just don't want pictures on the internet of empty seats. That's our biggest thing. Like
Yeah.
we want to plan ahead and be smart about this.
But is it better to sell out a 4,000 seat place or to put 6,000 in a 10,000
I mean,
seat place?
an
You know what I mean?
economics
It's funny
guy,
though,
the
but-
finance guy will say 6,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't
And
know.
it's all about perception.
Yeah.
The internet's so funny. Like,
It's so funny, yeah.
yeah, like it's hard to even explain. Like, I don't know what is right, you know, and what is
I
wrong.
think the bottom line is the dollar, right? So, like, how big was that building? Okay, how much did that building cost? Did it cost more? Did you make the money back with the 6? Like, it's economics. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, me as a professional wrestler, I'll go, I'd rather sell it at 4,000 so
That's
it looks
true.
awesome. We rock
You know,
that
and
building. You know?
The perception of it is you sold it out. No matter how many people you put
Right.
in the building, it was called a sellout. So
Yeah.
it's always going to look better.
Then if you
doing
run
a
small
sellout.
buildings forever, you'll always sell out. you know?
exactly.
but at the same time, we're ambitious,
Yeah.
and I can't see Tony being like, yeah, let's just run theaters forever. Like
Yeah.
he's like us,
Yeah.
and Cody and Kenny, they're the same. Like we're gonna shoot high, and we'll probably
Yeah.
do some massive buildings also.
But
so.
you're going to get to some cities where there's going to be a real arbitrage between like, all right, it's either this building, it's 2,000,
Yeah.
or this building
Yeah.
where the NBA team plays.
Yes,
You know?
we're gonna have to make a decision.
It's
right
going to
now.
be tough.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you there's going to be cities where we don't do as good as we usually do in
Sure.
Chicago. And that's just the nature of the business,
It's
though.
so strategic though. Like we have so many people, great people, like Dana, my wife, and Chris Harrington. Like these people, they pull the stats, and they could tell us. Like I'll even ask, like, hey, how do we do in this city? And they'll let me know. So like we're not going to just throw a random dart on the map and be like, let's do a show there. Like everything is planned ahead. Like
Yeah.
we're thinking about these things.
What did you think of Revival's tweet that Revival's the best tag team?
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're great. I mean, I laughed at it a little bit. In truth, like I was by myself and kind
Because
of
they
gave it a little
specifically
chuckle.
named you guys.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's ballsy, right?
They didn't mention our Twitter names, though.
No, I mean they don't. I don't think they mentioned anyone's sort of
Oh,
names. It was
okay.
just like a list. No, I saw that and I love that. Like when people aren't afraid to poke the bear, because I'm like, you know what? That's probably something I would do. So I got entertainment out of it. I don't think they're better than us. So if that's the question,
It's always fun though to book fantasy cards and stuff like that, and I think we would have a great matchup with those guys.
Absolutely.
If for whatever reason we we ever worked with WWE somehow. But I don't know.
Or if they ever leave.
It's fun to look at.
Well, from the start, the narrative's been that AEW is not competition to WWE. We're going to be an alternative.
Yeah.
Sure doesn't seem like WWE is seeing it that way anymore.
Yeah. It's funny, huh?
Isn't it?
Yeah. It's a funny
but
thing.
you know what? They hate us, I think. So
Well, why wouldn't they? Like, we're disrupting everything.
New
Like,
Japan hates us too. So,
I get
New
it.
Japan hates you now?
oh, are you kidding me?
I think everybody looks at AEW as competition because I mean we're this new thing. Nobody knows what people are afraid of the unknown, right?
Yeah.
They're like, who are these guys? And and every day you see a new headline about something we're doing. So like it's intimidating, and people are fearful of change. I get it.
But we're gonna stay that way. We're gonna be the alternative, and we really do mean it. Like, we want to be different from every other company that you see, and I feel like the first 2 shows that we've done, we've given a different type of show every time we've done it. So,
Yep.
Well, what was missing from wrestling as a whole that made you guys want to start your own company?
Jeez. I think something grittier and edgier, and for us, tag team wrestling. Like
yeah,
it's just,
that's a big one, actually.
It hasn't been around, man, and we just want to show people like tag team wrestling can be a semi-main event, a main event. It could be a big match. It could be one of the top 3 matches on the show. When's the last time you saw that? So for us, that was always a big deal. It's like, if we're going to do this, we're going to show everybody what we've been doing for a decade on the Independents. Because the Independents, we were the main event for 10 years doing this act, and it works, and it drew people to the buildings like we've seen in the past several years.
I think storytelling too. Like,
Sure.
man, everything's so hot shotted. Like,
Yeah.
with what you see on TV these days, it's like, come on, try to give some type of long-term story that fans could just dig their teeth into. You know what I mean? And I feel like fans want that. It's been a while.
Everything is so rushed. Like, someone was complaining yesterday at our table here at this convention. They were like, within 2 weeks they've started a new story and they've already ended it, and I might have missed a week. So I'm like, what happened? And I don't think there's anything wrong with showing a character just a little bit on 1 week, and maybe not even showing him the second week, bringing him back the third week. Like, it doesn't have to be so much every show. We give away a lot. Like, and I think that with the world the way it is now, like with technology, it's like everybody thinks that you want it right now, right then and now. It's like, no, it's like, listen, people watch Netflix, people watch Showtime. Dane and I watch HBO every week. What's the name of the show? Big Little Lies. Like, every week I'm invested in this thing, and they only give you a little bit every week, but they give you just enough that you want to come back 1 week later. Yeah. I still think, like, our habits as TV viewers are like, we want to come back and watch. You don't have to give us everything yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think we're hoping to do a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Who's the name that people tweet at you guys the most?
Jeez.
I'm just an interviewer of you guys, and I get tweets all the time about ask if they're going to bring this person in, ask if they're going to sign this person.
That's an easy one. It's CM Punk.
Yeah. I think
It'll
without
always
hands
be
down,
that.
right?
Yeah.
And we'll be honest, like, of course we would love him to come to our company. At this time, though, I just don't think he wants to. So.
Yeah, it's going to be his when he wants to come back to wrestling, it'll be his decision.
Do you think it's a when, or you think it's an if?
If. I think it's an if.
God, we would love to. Like, Matt talks to him all the time about it, and it's just the timing's not right, I guess. So.
You got to love professional wrestling, man. He knows better than anybody. This is the most demanding thing in the world.
Yeah.
And you can't just, like, find yourself back in it one day and be like, okay, I guess I'm doing this again. Like, you really have to want to do it, and that's up to him. So.
But you guys could probably create a situation where it's like, if you only want to come once a month,
Sure.
we can make that happen, Phil.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. We'll see.
You see that, guys? Uh-oh. Oh, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Look, I asked Tony the same question. I'm interested to hear the answer from you guys. What do you think is the 5-year plan for AEW?
Man, 5 years. It probably just to be a different alternative, like I said earlier. We feel like there's a chance to get a lot of the fans that stopped watching wrestling, like from the 90s and early 2000s, the Attitude Era, that a lot of people like to call it. A lot of those fans have been turned away from wrestling, and there's a few million of them, and I feel like there's still
like 10 million of them.
And I feel like there's still wrestling fans, but they just don't like what they see on TV now. So if we could get some of those fans back, and if we could get them to watch our product and keep them, I feel like that would be the biggest thing we could do in the next 5 years.
Yeah, he's right. Like so many 30, 40-year-olds come up to us all the time and go, "You made me fall back in love with wrestling. I gave up on it." And your guys' new vision has given me hope. Like, I want to be a fan again. There's just been no reason for me to be a fan again.
Yeah.
And we're bringing them back. So, like, if we, in 5 years, if we can, be popping a great rating every week, if we're still selling out buildings, if we've given, an alternative place for people to make money and support their families, man, that's great.
I just have to say thank you as a fan, also as a journalist, for the access that you guys have given me, the access that AEW has given.
Yep.
Sure.
WWE would never let any of their stars talk to an open mic after a show. Like, that is crazy that you guys allow
We
that.
want to
I
be
think it's
different
cool.
like that, though.
It feels like
It's
more
very
like a
cool.
sport, you
Yes,
know what I mean?
yes,
And
exactly.
Tony is big into that, obviously.
Yes, and I'm not sure if we're kayfabing those interviews or not. Like, it walks a very fine line.
It is. It's
Yes.
kind of, I mean, New
It's
Japan
kinda
does
cool,
the same
though.
thing, right?
Well, not
To this extent.
They don't ever break
Right.
character.
I think of it
anyway, but-
like I always loved the NBA when I was a kid, and they would go into the locker rooms
yeah,
and
the
the
press
players
conferences,
I mean, in the locker rooms, the
Yeah.
players would be changing, and they'd put a mic in their face,
Yeah.
and like, here, talk, and I'm like, and it's so
it
natural.
feels raw too. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
It
And
does.
it's cool.
And,
like,
and again, this goes back to people liking wrestlers on a personal level, because they're not necessarily in full character, because they're not in their costumes and they're not working a crowd. They're in an intimate environment with a microphone,
Yeah.
and I think that's why people like watching interviews like this. They go,
Yeah.
that's who these guys are.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, I like them,
and
or I don't like them.
We have to give credit to Tony for that, because that was all him.
Yeah.
I think it probably comes with him owning the Jaguars. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
sure.
And it feels more like a sport because of it.
Yeah, although Chris Jericho on camera there and Chris Jericho off camera. I was like, hey, something happened in that match with Kenny. Kenny broke his nose. What happened? And he's like, I punched him in his face. I'm like, well, not really. And then afterwards, like, the cameras were off. He's like, hey, Chris, it was good to see you.
That's awesome.
But what?
Everybody's different, I guess.
Yes, no, I know.
MJF's another one of those guys.
Well,
like,
MJF's always on.
Oh, he is.
And that's probably another person that people tweet me about all the time. Like,
Yeah.
what's he like in person?
How funny.
And I'm like, yeah, he's a dick.
He's going to be a big star.
Oh my God, he is. Absolutely. I was gonna say that would be hard for us to try to the red light's on. Let's act like the crazy young bucks.
We've
It was
always been pretty real, though.
well, and people watch they watch this vlog every week from the airport,
yeah.
and I'm crying about how I miss my wife and stuff. So it's like I can't necessarily. They know who we are, of
Yeah.
course. So
Is there any talk of making an AEW video game?
yes,
Oh, yeah.
This is very exciting. Yeah.
Dana's she's just giving me the nod.
Oh,
Don't
no.
talk about it.
Sorry, Dana.
Talk about
We're going to have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
What else can't we talk about?
No.
I think we've covered everything,
Let's
right?
see. Yeah, we did.
Everything that'll get us heat.
Yeah, let's see. I think I got it all here. I never look at these things, but
Yeah, I'm like,
time
where
I
did this
felt
thing
like-
come from? You
Yeah.
didn't have it out of the
I
entire
saw
interviews.
PAC on there.
You can read this writing. This is terrible. This is very messy. All right, I super appreciate you guys taking the time to do this.
Sure.
I know that we needed a redo after the very quick interview with the lights going out with Ring of Honor, but I'm glad we're doing it now because so much has changed and so
Yeah.
much is going to continue to change.
Yeah, let's do another one in another year and a half. See where we're at.
It'd be better if we did it before then. If we can
We'll
make
see
that
you next
happen.
week.
Oh yeah, we'll see you next week in Jacksonville. That's true.
I'll see you this week. I'll see you on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, this week.
Yeah.
6 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
This will be uploaded this week. So.
All right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
check out our show then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fight for the Fallen.
Yeah, Fight for the Fallen, Being the Elite,
Yeah.
and the Chris Van Vliet show. There you go.
There it is.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, it's
All
everywhere.
right. Yeah. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for checking out my chat with the Bucks of Youth. If you don't already, please click subscribe. Look, I got this graphic made, sound effect and all. If you do subscribe, thank you. You're awesome. And don't you want to be awesome for people that aren't subscribed? Exactly. There's a lot to unpack from this interview. I mean, PAC is coming back. There's an AEW video game at some point happening. Talking about how that chair shot with Cody was supposed to go. Changing the world of wrestling. There's a lot to unpack here. Can't wait to hear what you guys think in the comments section. All I know is that come October, the landscape of wrestling is going to look even more different than it looks right now. And the wrestling landscape in 2019 is already looking pretty different. But AEW going to TNT, SmackDown moving to Fox, a lot of big changes, and I can't wait for them. Hey, do you want to win an autographed 8x10 from the Young Bucks? Just check out my post with the Young Bucks on Instagram, and while you're on there, give me a follow as well. Well, you'll need to follow to enter the contest. you'll see in the post. But thank you so much for checking out this interview. I'm going to be at Fight for the Fallen in Jacksonville on Saturday. If you're there, I'd love to meet you. I'm also planning to be at All Out in Chicago. Also would love to meet you there. You're awesome. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing. And we've got a ton more interviews coming up from Fight for the Fallen and a couple of other little surprise-aroos that are coming up. Yeah, that's right. I said surprise-aroos that are coming up, including I'm going to do some Steiner math with Scott Steiner, who's coming here to South Florida in a couple weeks. It's going to be good.